I'm Tom Baker, this is Chasing Cars, and today we're reviewing a model that I've really been looking forward to. This is the new Volvo Cross Country. That's a name that will be familiar to many of you, as the old V70 based Cross Country was pretty popular here in Australia in the 1990s and 2000s. Well, Volvo have renewed that name now for the much sexier V60 wagon. You still get raised ride height, tougher styling cues and rugged cladding, and all-wheel drive built right in, and I think it makes for a great looking car. Plus, a raised wagon is a remarkable alternative for family buyers rather than buying a mainstream SUV. Hopping into the Cross Country, the first thing you notice are the incredibly comfortable seats. The Volvo V60 seats are, I think, the best fitted currently to any car. They're made of soft leather. These ones are black with bronze stitching, which is a contrast that looks really great. They have excellent side and back bolstering too. I did a 300-kilometer stint in one go and climbed out feeling totally fresh. If you travel long distances, you really should check out a Volvo. Now that I've got over the seat love, we can move on to the rest of the Cross Country's interior. Well, this center console is starting to be just a little bit dated, and that's because it's a button fest. But other than that, the driver angle and the floating design still hold up and still look really cool. The crisp color screen up here is now a bit on the small side at 7 inches, but it really does get the job done. The digital gauge cluster is also really cool. I just wish it would show you what song you've currently got playing. And speaking of music, the sound quality in this car is actually superb. Here in the back, it's clear that the V60 Cross Country is a great car for families. The first really useful thing are the two integrated booster seats. They work like this. They put your toddler or small child sitting up a little bit higher, which is a lot safer for them. And when I was very small, 15 years ago, my dad had an S40 with some of the very first versions of these integrated booster seats, and they worked really well, and they've only got better since then. For bigger people, like I am now, there's good space here and you can fit 3 adults abreast. Headroom is good, I'm 6 foot nothing now. Legroom is also okay. So let's price up our V60 Cross Country. Well, there's just one model, and that's the diesel. It's $63,375. That means that upgrading to the Cross Country form factor costs an additional $5,700 over the normal V60 diesel. But remember, with this car, you're getting all-wheel drive, which is actually the biggest part of that investment. The V60's boot is actually a little bit of a weak spot for the Cross Country, and that's because it's just smaller than the competition. There's 430 litres back there. Compare that to something like an Audi A4 All-Road, which is the most direct competitor. That's got 490 litres, and so does the new Mercedes C-Class station wagon. That said, at least it's in good shape, and I was able to transport some furniture around this week, which was one of the chores that I ran with the car. Of course, you are able to drop the seats. The load bay goes completely flat, and you can fit a lot more in like that. Because the Cross Country is based on the regular V60 wagon, you'd be forgiven for assuming that the two cars handle in very similar ways, but actually they don't. So the changes start under the bonnet. In recent years, the normal V60 has been powered by a 2-litre 4-cylinder diesel, but the Cross Country actually gets a more unusual 5-cylinder. The 2.4-litre produces 140 kilowatts of power and 420 newton meters of torque, so a sufficient amount, but it's never going to be that quick. That said, once you build up speed in the Cross Country, it's pretty brisk, and the particular engine note that a 5-cylinder produces is definitely more engaging and smoother than that of a 4. It's efficient too, returning about 8 litres per 100 kilometres out here in the real world on the combined cycle. Now, the V60 already had some good handling traits, namely sharp and accurate steering, and that's carried over to the Cross Country. Despite increasing the ride height by 65mm, body roll is well and truly under control. Plus, the softer suspension that the Cross Country needed in order to be able to handle a bit of trail work hasn't done any impact on ride quality. In fact, it's increased it across the board. Plus, any of that road noise and harshness that was associated with the V60 essentially evaporates if you choose the Cross Country option. Now, that increase in ride height definitely does buy you some extra capability. Look, the V60 Cross Country is never going to be doing heavy-duty off-road work, but it definitely makes you more comfortable on trails, on snow, or in a little bit of mud. We covered about 100 kilometres of unsealed road and have only good things to say. The all-wheel drive system intervenes only when it's absolutely necessary, which means that this is an easy car to drive at a decent pace on a variety of surfaces. It keeps you safe. If you've got 2 kids or an active lifestyle, but you don't want to climb into a towering SUV, this cross-country is the car for you. Cool, comfortable and quietly sophisticated, this V60 might not be Volvo's most high-profile offering, but it's one of their best.